crazy in this place right now. And not crazy, but crazier than I want it to be, right? So, I got some lumber over there. I built some shelves last week I wasn't happy with for that same door build that we did, and the floating vanity top. And I want to build some shelves for that same laundry room that's adjacent to that too. Yeah. But I gotta clean the shop first. Maybe we'll build something else in between. But if you get here late and you got some questions, feel free. Ask them in the chat and I'll answer them if I can. Maybe even some gloves. But we gotta keep the shop clean. We gotta keep our peace of mind, you know what I mean? No talking, no questions. I'm here today for it, if you got it. If you got it. If not, you know, maybe there's something zen about watching me work. What the battery's talking about. We need to charge that. I'm gonna have to run some new power sooner or later. I got cords starting to build up. But all of my work tables have power stations. So that helps a lot. And my entire family is out of the house today, so I can actually be loud in here. had to kill a mosquito just now. I don't want to turn that murder fan on just now because I don't want to get too my mosquito contraption. I don't want to get too crazy with the noise. I'm still dunking tools in the Evapo-Rust. That stuff is fantastic. We should do a commercial for them because that stuff is great. This is my dad's hammer. I remember this hammer from when I was a kid. I inherited it from him when he passed away. But this is the first hammer I ever held in my whole life. So we do need to put this plane back together. And we also need to fix that bevel. Look at that. One, how ragged that is. That's the cutting edge. But look how it's also, right? All that's got to get shaved off, cut off, and get that together. Yeah, man. It's what I do. It's a long time ago I realized that's how I'm built. Like what some people would call anxiety, you know, could actually just be a person who was made to get a lot done and can't really handle stagnant in a circumstance that doesn't get stuff done. I think I'm just built that way. Not that there's like any kind of right way, but it's just how I recognize how I'm built, you know. So we'll figure out how this goes back together. Might as well turn this around. Let y'all see this process, right? I might have something. Hold on. Hold on. This thing right here. Every now and then I'll do a live with this. The old bondage cam. So now I'll go get my whip. Just kidding. Hold tight. Now you kind of get the old man's eye view. That's what I should call this. Dad cam. Okay. Let me see if I can remember how to properly put this thing together. Maybe we should reference the OG. Get the rest of our parts. See how much stuff is scattered about? Where are the other handles? Did I put them up here? No. Not in there. Not here. See, I don't have a place for broken apart things. Oh, here it is. Here they are. Here they are. Handles. Let's get this out of the way. That out of the way. That out of the way. And the various other things that have nothing to do with this tool out of the way. Thanks for the likes. I didn't see that happen. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's see. So like all of this needs to sit. Oops. Like so. And then the thingamawhatsits goes right on top of that. So we're going to take our doodad screw and go in from this side. Just tighten that up. And we're just putting it back together for now, so we got all the parts clean and set. And then we'll have to clean that blade because that's crazy. We're gonna have to cut that for sure. But anyways, meantime, I'm gonna put those screws in and set it up. Then we've got to set the frog back down. It's got to be a screw for that. Let's take a look. Pair of screws for that and a couple of washers. So here are our two washers, Badoop and Badoop. A pair of screws. That guy and his other brother Daryl. We of course will need a screwdriver. Preferably one that didn't actively drop in debris. That would be the best kind not to get. So let's just get that in the frog real quick. Get one lined up and you, okay. Let's just stop playing these games right now. All right. There you go. What if that's just not the right screw? Oh, I forgot about that stupid screw. So these sit down a little bit. I remember this being weird to get out. Had to put a little angle on it. Same is going to be true for this side, obviously. Hope you're not one of those people that can't tolerate ugly hands. I got man hands. I apologize for my dastardly appearance. Okay. Okay. Little John. Okay. Let's going all right. 2 more likes, and I appreciate you for it. I really don't want to not acknowledge that. I appreciate it. There's like little lightweight goals we always set for ourselves just in life. Uh, just to feel some progression. You know what I'm saying? And those little thumbs over there are lightweight goals that I appreciate. Even just your presence here, that's as well. It's super dope. Back that out a little bit, so that we can get that thumb down a little bit. And then that's about right there. Now, we've got this piece right here. Uh-oh, is that supposed to go in first? Yeah, I'll just pop that off. Pop that off. That up. Scooch that out. See, it's amateur hour over here. Amateur hour. It's all right, we're getting it though. Now, see if we can get in there. Whew. Okay. Maybe a little more pressure. Maybe I'm being a little too gentle. Felt the connection there. It's weird though. I really don't want to cross thread it. I don't know also if it has ever been. I'm kind of trying to keep some pressure forward on the threads with my thumb, and at the last minute I realized this thread's opposite. It's a lefty tighty, a righty loosey, if you will. Amazing. Okay, so we learned something new. Those of you who are new to the channel, I'm a professional contractor, novice woodworker, obviously. That's what my teen daughters would say, obviously. They might not even say that. They might even call me lame for saying that. That might be last year's. Drop the bean in, flick the flicker. We have an assembled end plane for the most part. We'll set that there. Drop that screw. Crank that skirt. Now, the unfortunate part about this harness is that I cannot see your comments. It's physically blocked from my field of vision. So if you are saying very clever and remarkable things, I apologize that I cannot acknowledge them. So here's what I'll do, and I'll be like, here's what I'll do. Thank you, everyone. You see how I do this wrong and have to undo it all? But nonetheless, I both thank and appreciate you. Did that just fall completely through onto the floor? That's how you treat your antiques, Wes. My bad, everybody. Let's recover, shall we? Some feeble attempt at saving our dignity. But first, we gotta take all of this back off. Oh man. Can we clear it now? A little bit. That's better. Somebody who actually is familiar with these is like looking at this atrocity and going, what is this dude doing? What is he doing to that fantastic plane? That old beauty. Oh snap, I got 5 more likes. Y'all are the bee's knees. Can I say that? Still be cool? Can I call you the bee's knees? I can tell you what is the bee's knees, this plane, because now this one I've been using, so it's not like it's beat up. It's just got a lot of dust on it. But it works swimmingly. But I also restored it, but it wasn't nearly in the kind of shape this thing was. This was terrible. I really didn't think I would be able to do anything with it, but this is daggone evapor rust, fam. Crazy. I still gotta oil this thing up and, keep it from doing it again, but I'm gonna do all of these eventually. But for now, tidying up the shop. Don't worry, I got a little vinyl plank right there. All of that's very well protected. None of these blades are getting ruined. Sorry if you have vertigo. Let's get all this stuff up. With that evapor rust comes a lot of latex gloves. This was not me having a bad boys party. Just want y'all to know. I'm not that kind of guy. But what I do need is to designate one of these buckets for trash right now. Let's get this one. So I don't have to keep going in and out of the door. I think we found another evapor rust candidate. Shameful. Let's see how old yesterday's batch. It's weird, that black stuff on it, but once I shine them up, in fact, might as well get another box of latex gloves out. Emergency gloves pile. all those knives. YouTube. Most slept on square in the game, I'm telling you right now. Most slept on square in the game, the combination square. This thing is great for a multitude of things. We're going to dig with it later, but that's why I keep it right there so I can get to it. Y'all see anything y'all not supposed to, don't call the fuzz. All right, let's see. This little screwdriver box. Always have some shop tools that stay in the shop and never leave. Always have some of those. Screwdrivers and such. So a screwdriver box I had over here, but then I had to get a small container for my Rusto stuff, and that's what it ended up being. Speaking of, let me get this old rusty blade out of my hand. This is the blade that was in the knife that I dunked in that stuff. Look at the blade, right? Imagine what the knife looks like. Which one of these do you think this came from? The knife was just as rusty as this, which is going in the trash. All right, quiz is over. It was this one. It was this one. And this thing is fully functional. Saved me at least this $30 or whatever this was. I should do a review on these knives too. They're all good though. Like, do you even need a review if it's just good? Like, if it's all good, you just say it's all good. Whatever you thought would be dope turned out to be dope. These are good for cleaning stuff too, especially when we get into this. In fact, let's just go ahead and park that right there in our little situation we got going on. This is the Rando bin. Rando down here. The, was that Rudolph's Toys or Lost something? Anyway. Can't use this. Don't need this glass cutter. We can put it up here in the Rando pile. And let's get some goggles. And might as well get a drill, right? What's got some power right now? There we go. There we go. I know you're gonna hate it, fellas. I know you're gonna hate it. But remember when I said some shop tools never leave the shop. And that's what'll keep them healthy. And that's what'll keep them always available for yourself. All right. I think I'm gonna change your perspective here. And that way I can reply to your comments if you have any. But I'll try to keep it primarily on the work, you know? Nobody needs to see my mug. Hope I'm not blinding you with my ring light. West does it as a live show, man. me get the whole thing. All right, here we go. All right. Back at it like the Craftmatic. Island of Misfit Toys. Mike, I knew you was going to come through for me, man. Yeah. Yep, and that multifunction square. I'm glad y'all paying attention, man. I got some real ones in this chat. If I'd known that, I'd have flipped that camera around a while ago. I gotta get the shop towels closer so I don't have to flex these abs on y'all. I am gonna take this off though. And I'm gonna finish the cleaning of these hammers. This one I found out my client actually I left it at their house, and I went by there the other day and they were like, "Look what you," and I was very excited. This is like the world's greatest demo hammer in my personal opinion. So it's getting the full WD-40 treatment. After the Rusto mod, Rusto Vapo Rust, I'm calling it everything. But the kitchen sink, what's good, Mike? Yeah, tell me about your Vapo Rust, man. Oh, don't throw it out. That's what's up. It's still sitting over there in that jug. I'm still stuffing stuff in it. By the way, I'm just using this bristle brush right here. And some steel on it just to knock the rest of that rust off. But also with that WD-40, I need to work in a little bit of oil into this thing. So I'm gonna do that. I can get you a little bit closer. So it ain't just on me, you know. I ain't handsome. All right. I'm gonna drop this height a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Probably running off my crowd, but I'm doing what I can, y'all. I guess there's paint on here. Either way, it's coming off. But shh. I mean, I got the goggles on. People say to me all the time, why don't you have an extra vice in that shop? And I say, I keep two things with me all the time. Hoist Gracie and Terrence Crawford. Always got a vice, always got a hammer. That's like a new age dad joke, right? Hold on, y'all. I gotta respect the chat and see what's being said real quick. If you want to see the look up a gun hand tool rescue, his 55-gallon drum. It's that last them years. Just keep reusing it. Man, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Good to know, broski. Because you know I like to save a buck. But this Milwaukee demo hammer is the truth. That's so you know. Evapo-Rust is the truth. And WD-40, aside from water, is the best liquid on the planet. Can you see what I'm doing? Am I screwing up the view? Waffle head demo hammer. I don't know if y'all know about these things, but if you don't, I got the first day of tools. You can hashtag it. It's a number 1 and then ST and then day of tools on this little shorts series I did when I first got to YouTubing, but it was good information for the beginner. So I think I'm going to do long series of that, long form videos of all that content, get a little bit more deep dive into them. Like this drywall hatchet, which is one of my very favorite tools of all time. Told y'all I started out as a roofer, which is why nobody's ever said anything in the chat that could ever possibly hurt my feelings. Yeah, that's a... Well, this one's actually considered a drywall hatchet because of that rounded head right there. Now, Istwing does have the shingling hatchet, but it's got a square head. It's got the waffle, but it's got a square head. And it's heavier than this. It's a lot hardier than this, and it's not quite as narrow. But this thing is so strong. It is what I used to shingle with when I was a young roofer because it was lighter and I could do the same job with it. And I could also ID it amongst the other roofers because anybody that did anything that knew what they were doing had a roofing hatchet like this as an Estwing, or they had one with the hickory handle and they cut it off right there. That was like some OG stuff. But that was when you got paid per square, which is a 10 by 10 area of shingles, which is 3 bundles of 3 tabs or 4 bundles of architectural shingles. But every one of those squares that you got down, they counted and you got paid per that. So the faster your hammer, the more money you made. And this hammer right here was the first tool I invested in that gave me a return because it made me faster. Just full of old man stories now. Yeah, when I was a kid, all this was woods as far as the eye could see. Oh yeah, it does have a little knob for spacing on that roofing hatchet. You could put that little blade on the back of it. I used to take those things off. I was scared I was gonna come back and hit myself in the face with that extra inch, you know what I'm saying? But when you are shingling, you are flying. It's 2 hits per nail, that's it. Click, boom, click, boom, click, boom, click, boom. That's the sound. Makes you feel like your tools are new when you clean them up. Gives you a renewed sense of pride about them a little bit, I must admit. And so wire brush is the business. But this right here, must not be discredited. I mean, that's doing something. I wonder where my grinder is. Do I have it here? Because if I do, I got some flap discs for that thing. And maybe that's what I can do. Because, I mean, the rust is gone, but this patina I'm left with leaves a little to be desired. Give me a sec. Let's see what we got. Not very pretty, but I mean, does it need to be? I love these. Picked up a Singer sewing machine, but it's a couple of weeks. It's pretty good shape. Want to clean it out the rust. It's wood top. Black Walmart, probably. Definitely use the Evapor Rust. I will say have something afterwards because this patina right here is not pretty. So you're gonna still have to polish and do some things after. But what a fantastic start. Like, I don't know if you were here when I had the plane down and put it back together, but it was crazy good. Crazy good. All right, I'm gonna get something else for this buddy. Because I want to get that, you know what's crazy? That might be something that got held on from the sticker. Now this part wasn't submerged. Look at the difference. That was submerged, that wasn't. And the reason I didn't submerge them is because that stuff leaves my handles a little bit sticky. I don't know if that's going to be a permanent thing, but I don't want that to happen on my hammers. So, now, grinding. Oh, do I have my plumbing tools here? If I don't, I won't have a pair of pliers heavy enough to open this up. I don't have the key for this. That's the thing about being a contractor. Sometimes your stuff isn't in the shop at all. It's on the job where it needs to be, but less fun here. Boo. I wish I had a soundtrack, a little track. Boo. So this hammer, let's see if we can get a little bit better. A little bit better. Put the work on it. Oh, Mike, I've always been a GC, bro. Yeah, I've been a contractor on my own for probably about 27 years now. Remodeling homes. Ever since my daughter was born. What's going on, Pine? I always say buy durable tools, but the tools that you can bring back, that you can take care of. TJ, what's good? TJ, I forget, are you a woodworker? What do you do, buddy? A little pro tip, always use your navel as support. Don't do that. Don't do that. I feel you, Mike. I don't waste a lot of money either, man. Yeah. If you spend, like, one of the first things I learned is that this is a lifetime tool. And it also carries a lifetime warranty, right? Just like this. These are like really strong, well-made tools. And just like these things, you know, I don't have a plane in the shop younger than me. And they're well made, and the reason is because they don't make them the same now because of everybody wants to scale, and scaling doesn't allow for proper time to temper and things like that, and people don't want to pay for the process that it takes to get that, and sometimes the newer stuff sucks. So when you get something that you know is going to last, you just, you know, it makes sense to do it. What else do we got going on today? Let's get these hammers placed back in the hammer container. This is my Estwing framing hammer. So when I'm actually building a structure, this is what I use. Significantly bigger than that. Much heavier situation, but man, that thing can beat some wood, pound some nails. Yeah, it's money. And it's a forever tool. I don't even know how old this is. This one could be 20 years old. And the great thing about this, right? These look like the same kind of girth. This is lighter and a little bit stronger. This is a demo hammer. And it's big, it's heavy, it's hardy. You can use it as a framing hammer, but you see the claws are different. This one's more for pulling nails and prying. This one is for yanking them out fast. All right. Little Hammer's Ed course for you. Set y'all back up here. We're gonna get back to cleaning this shop. High dollar, I would say they're definitely more than a cheap hammer. I'll show you. I just have like I said, if you're a homeowner, this is fine. $7. It'll do everything. But if you're a pro, that's when efficiency counts, and that's when strength counts, that's when reliability counts, things like that, because you're definitely going to be beating on it a lot more. So those things become a little bit more prominent at that level. This is also why my DeWalt stuff goes on the job, because it can take more punishment. These stay in the shop because they'll do fine as long as you don't beat them too bad. And in the shop, they don't get nearly the kind of abuse that they would get on a job site, where I'm going to be potentially on ladders, dropping stuff and clipping things off rafters. You know what I'm saying? The Martinez, oh, it's crazy. You can get a good S-Wing for less than $50. I'm sure of that. I'm sure you can get a great S-Wing in almost any class for under $60, for sure. But those Martinez hammers, if I was framing every single day and I was making tons of money and I had disposable income and I just loved framing, maybe I'd get it just because I'd like to have the vanity of the tool. You know what I mean? Like, I'll show you. My Martinez hammer is out there in the driveway. I drive a 30-year-old truck and a 42-year-old truck, and they're a pain because I always have to replace stuff on them. It's hard to find. It's not super hard to find parts, but I'm always working on them. That's why I got two of them, because they're never running at the same time. And I could get an F-150, to be honest, and be trouble-free. Yeah, those things are super expensive, man. I couldn't do it. I'd be too worried about it. Yeah. But generally speaking, I work alone, or anybody that's working with me, I hired. So I pretty much know them. So I don't really have a theft problem. I really haven't ever had a theft problem. The only time I really lost tools was in parking lots at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. If I happen to be on a side of town where they let guys kind of hang out in the parking lot unmonitored, and then sometimes it's, a bad day, and at least they're trying to earn a living with it, maybe. Or sell it back to somebody else on the other side of the parking lot. Okay, let's start putting our stuff away. At some point, when I get this shop adequately clean, we're going to build these shelves for this laundry room that I got going. I think I'm going to build them in compartments and then stack them and then fasten them in place once I get there. But I think I'm better off building them here, where I've got a little bit more control. These cords moved around so that when I need power for that vac, I'll have it. That same hose will go into all three of those devices perfectly. What are y'all doing with your Sundays? Y'all chilling? You laid back? No, I couldn't hear me. So the GC, I'm gonna ask about organizing. Here's my continual, scrolled a little bit faster than I could read real quick. Here's my continual issue with, I don't have enough floor space to department like the hardware store. Keeping all my different disciplines organized without issues. Did a bug just? Hold on, I gotta put on the bug zapper thing, the incinerator. Ugh. Real quick. Okay. That's not too loud. Okay. Let's just here continue this one. Yeah. Organizing without those issues. Let me read this other stuff real quick before I get past it and lose it too, but I'm gonna come right. I love it, but I have another van, much more efficient. Everything stays dry. That's incredible. Van guys. Van guys have to be organized. There's no other way, because you can't just reach over and grab stuff. Van guys have to be organized, and van guys always have pack out toolboxes, stuff like that. Now I do too. What I have, I don't have them here. I have them on the job site. You know those big Husky rollers? They have the big wheels on them, the two big wheels on them, and mine are a little bit bigger than that bin right there. And then they've got the little slots for the 2x4, so if you need to use them for a sawhorse, you know what I'm saying? That right there, those. I've got one of those for plumbing tools, and I've got one of those for plumbing fixtures, extra pipes, stuff like that. Whenever I take out plumbing, I grab those two, and they go with me. Same thing for my electrical, but they don't have to be that big for my electrical. It's more the size of that smaller bin right there. And just a toolbox, you know, yay big, whatever. And that's plenty enough for my electrical tools. But then the things like the cordless things that I need to carry with me, same thing, put them on those rollers or in bins, and you can just take my truck. I can put 6 of them back there, no problem. And I got a 6.5 foot bed. So whatever I need for the day, I can dump on there. The other great thing about them is the height of them seems to be intentionally just below the bed of the truck, just right there. So if you're putting plywood on, you're putting sheetrock, it just sits right on top of that, runs right over the tailgate, strap it all down together. Works great for me, for the on-site stuff. Now, also, this ain't the most efficient way to carry it. But these job site, I can put my saw on that. If I'm taking it with me, I can put that saw on it. I can put that table saw on it. I can take it out of its compartment, and I can put it on that thing. I can take it on site, and I can do anything I want with it. And that saves me a ton. I don't have to carry a bunch of other stuff around. But it doesn't take up any more space than when you put that. But it came with that Hitachi, but that can fasten to it as well. So little stuff like that kind of helps me be able to be a little bit more versatile on the job. But also cordless tools. Like little small cordless tools are so strong now that if I don't have an all day of wood cutting, I take me a couple good charged batteries and I can usually get through a build, you know? Let's see if we can find a good place for this. Yeah. Get this back out. Then I'm going to eventually fire this up. What circuit do I want to run it on? Maybe just right here. And I'll probably use this pneumatic. Like I have a miter saw station, right? But I'll swap out the miter saw horizontal. bandsaw and my chop box if I had room to set up all three. Now I would lug them up and down over and over. Now something else. I think I'm gonna have to go into the next room. I'll be right back. I'm going in the room to get the other thing. I've got to, right? This is an extra one that I had, and I ended up cutting a bunch of holes in it, so it kept getting full of water. But yeah, this thing is super strong. It's handle to pull. You can drag this upstairs. You can bounce it downstairs. Like, I beat on it when I had it. Stand on it. Let's see, I cut through. Made it a lot less reliable to stand on, but I don't have to carry a bench when I have those. So I don't, that's one less thing that I have to take. And whatever I want to take, I can put in there. But that's not what I was going to get. FYI, I also used to take nuts and bolts and fasten. I might not have done it with this particular one, but fasten drilled holes through. And I can fasten that same miter saw, compound miter saw, right on top of that and have a stationary bench to work on. It also did that job. I'll show you one more thing. This thing. It's been a while since I did it, so I'm gonna be goofy for a second. Okay. You see all of that? Now, let me pull this up a little bit. Now, the thing about that is, hold on, I gotta plug in before my battery dies. All right. Rigid makes this thing. It's got the roller if you want. It's got a stop if you want. But either way, this thing will support this end to end. I just picked this up today. That's a 12 footer. You know what I mean? I promise you, Mike, are you in Georgia? If you're in Georgia, you can come pick this up. I do not use these anymore. I do not use them. They're in the back of my shop, but this thing works fantastic. It was a great tool for when I did need it. You lock it down. Oh, little spring popped out. Back up. I guess you can't twist it too far, Mike. I don't want to sell you bad merchandise. Alright. Yeah, I love this tool. Now watch this. I feel like I should be on the shopping network. And the other portable heads, fish cutting. Yeah, but here's what's crazy about this thing. If you got more than one tool, I got cocky. Say you got multiple saws, which I do. This is made by Rigid, Mike. These boys right here. Lock them on like that. How do you know? Oh, there. Oh. Guess you gotta pull this lever up. Okay. And you put your table saw bolts, your chop saw bolts through that. And you just adjust them to whatever size that your saw is. And you can buy as many pairs of them as you want. And as long as they can fit inside of there, you can have stuff side by side. Yeah, flimsy wings suck. I could, but I generally don't sell tools. I generally hoard tools. I am a tool taker-inner, not a tool sender-outer. But, you know, I do give gifts to friends if they need them, though. For real. I appreciate that, Anthony. You're looking out. So I'm going to take that, put that away. Take that. Both of these other two tools also double as a dolly. You can strap stuff to them and roll them around. Yeah, man. Some great stuff. This one was a Rigid. The first one I showed you was a Hitachi. It came with my table saw. But yeah, man, there's answers for sure. I get you, Anthony. I'm just, yeah, I can't get rid of nothing, man. I can't get rid of nothing that I think I can fix. All right. Speaking of fix, I'm almost comfortable enough to get started on this little countertop. I mean, these shelving. Let me go ahead and get into that. Now, I made some measurements. Man, I got 24 lights, and I'm ecstatic about that. That is awesome. Hey man, pretty things are nice too, bro. I'm cleaning some of this shop. I'm sort of kind of cleaning the shop. That's why that parentheses is there. I'm always gonna do something else. I just that Rusto stuff gave me this clamp back too. I think it saved me at least $100 in repair tools already. I feel like I should get a sponsorship deal. But then that might corrupt my blossoming image. Right. Extra wood. No such thing. Let's get that on the there. Made in October. Your drill press, brand called Walker Turner. You know, I saw one of those on Marketplace, that same brand. Oh man, that's crazy. I don't even have a drill press. I've never had one. I bet that thing is gorgeous of yours, man. Made in 1927. That's kind of awesome. I'd love to see it. You should post that on your channel. I would love to see that. I bought I got an old Craftsman from a client and was just getting rid of it because they bought a house with it in there. That thing was a heavy, heavy chunk of metal and took up so much space and didn't work. I had to just take it to the landfill. Feed it to the wolves. Let's see. Gotta figure out what my plans are. Definitely gotta put a cut list together real quick. I know what my moves are. I'm gonna put this over hither. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah, that thing was super freaking heavy. It was heavier than I wanted to lug around. And I generally don't mind carrying around heavy junk. This one was too much. So, what I know is my full measurement on my shelves is 54 inches left to right. I got roughly 8-foot ceilings, and the bottom shelf I want to be 18 inches. Deep. 2 upper shelves at 12 inches each. So I'm going to build it like a legged cabinet. can I transport that without a back? Then I don't have to build a back. We'll have enough lumber to build a back at 54. Let's see. Because I might. And then basically you'll get kind of a cabinet build out of me, at least the carcass. I'll lose a foot if I do it that way. I'll let you, Mike. Take it easy, bro. Yeah, I can definitely carry the 3 pieces. Y'all be good. I'm going to draw these plans out. It's going to bore you to death when I do. I'll come back when I got some idea about what I'm building, and yeah, and then I'll build it. Peace. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for your likes. Peace.